going, everybody? Welcome to Unbranded Marketing's limited podcast series with fellow entrepreneurs that we know from university. Today we're here with PJ Oji with BankNBook, scheduling software for small and medium-sized businesses. PJ, would you like to run us through a 60-second pitch of your product?
So BankNBook is an automated software. It helps businesses build a booking system. It also customizes their web pages and creates digital dashboards for them. This can be very, very helpful because it allows them streamlines their appointments, segments their customers, and service them better.
Amazing. So we all know that your background really defines who you are as an entrepreneur. So would you like to go into how your background has helped you move forward with your business?
To be fair, mine is a very weird one. I think from foundation, I am a mechanical engineer, so quite skilled of software. But being an engineer actually helps you think outside the box and try to fix problems wherever you see them. But this is a different set of engineering from what I'm familiar with. But that background actually helps me to always fix problems where I found them and find solutions to common problems. So jumping on being a CEO for a tech startup naturally came to me, and I found it easy.
Amazing. So do you think your international background also helped you make you who you are now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm Nigerian and we're very tenacious. There's 200 million people and we're scattered in almost every part of the world, and there's no way here that a Nigerian is lazy. So we always find a way to combat challenges. Growing up in Nigeria wasn't easy. I think part of my inspiration came from my dad. He was a small business owner. He, in his case, refused to innovate. He didn't use any automating system, which could have made his life easier and his business bigger. But then picking back from that, I see how these little changes can improve the business or a business and grow it and help you, maximize as much profit as you can and also create value for your users.
Would you say that gave you an advantage starting your business?
Yeah, it sort of gave me an advantage. I've always known that I was a little bit more than just a mechanical engineer or just someone who was going to be a professional. I think I always felt like I had a good chance of starting something, creating something using technology and solving some of the problems businesses faced. Yeah, so that gave me a good advantage coming from that background and being in that environment where I could actually see firsthand what businesses thrived at, the failures, and how to make it better.
So what was the moment that then you realized that you had to build this business?
It's quite funny because I think people get ideas randomly. Sometimes it gets to them, sometimes people meet them. But in my case, I lived my own experience. So my barber, I used to book my sessions with him via DMs, and every time I'll just send him a DM saying I'm coming so and so date, and he'll send me a link to make a deposit, and then that would in turn mean that I had a date. So one of those days I went in and then he had double booked, so someone else was in my time, and that created confusion. So one of us had to go first. So I did let the other person go. And then when he was giving me the haircut, I told him, does this happen all the time? He says yes. And I was like, I could actually build a small platform that could help you clean out your schedule, and you can actually have prompts as to who's coming, when they're coming, and they too can have prompts. And if they want to cancel, they could just simply cancel and you get an email notification. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. So that's how BankNBook started.
That's brilliant. So what would you say it was starting up a business while you were a student? How did you manage your uni work and running a business?
To be fair, it was quite tough. I'm sure you know the Uni of Chester is no small feat. Being in business school is also really tough. Assessments. Then I was writing my dissertation, so that was tough. I also had a part-time job I was doing. I had loads of other extracurricular, like the venture platform, and also things that I was involved in the uni. So trying to balance all of that, and I wasn't building alone. I had a co-founder, and also trying to manage that in a small team. It was quite challenging, but I knew there was an opportunity there, and I knew I had to just keep at it, which is why I kept on.
How'd you find working in a team, starting a small business? What were some of your challenges that you faced?
Well, it's tough. I've worked in teams before. Like in former employment, I used to be a scrum master, And if you know what being a Scrum Master is, it means you actually have to work in self-organizing teams, and everyone had a responsibility. I just had to keep everyone in line. But this is quite different from just being a Scrum Master. This is me being a CEO, being a founder, and people look to me for leadership. So it's quite tough, because then you have to balance if you're stern or if you're being liberal, and you have to choose which. And then you also have to consider every person on the team, its circumstances. Oh, it varies. So you can't treat the same person with the other ones. And then deadlines are also things you have to think about, because not so many people look at it the way you look at it as a CEO.
So now, how does it look like in a day, your day-to-day life as a full-time entrepreneur?
I don't know, to be fair. Sometimes I think I wake up like I think just a normal person. But then it quickly gets to me that, you know what, you're an entrepreneur, and it means every day you need to be innovating, you need to create, you need to give leadership direction to your team. And then if there are problems, you need to solve them as quick and as fast as possible. So it means that I need to check up on the team every day. I need to see what progress has been done. We use a particular tracker called Linear to track some of our tasks that we've set out to do for the week. And then we try to hold stand-ups to see what's happened, what blockers, if there were any, and how we can move on from that. So every day, every passing day, Monday to Sunday, I must think about BankNBook and my team.
Wow, that's really hard and a full schedule right there. So has there ever been a day you've seriously thought about quitting?
Yeah, every day, bro. Every day, bro. It's not easy. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, yeah, I'll still to just get an education, play it safe, get a job. So maybe I could just relax into doing that. But I like Elon Musk, and he always says if something is very important to do, then you should do, even if the odds of it succeeding isn't there. So I'm happy doing this, which has made me stay regardless, because trust me, the odds are not in my favor. But I feel like I know that it's an opportunity here, and I wouldn't stop till, I mean, it's gotten to where I want it to be and probably beyond.
Well, yeah, it's interesting you bring up Elon Musk, because he's obviously had like many entrepreneurial successes, and, many big achievements. But what would be your biggest achievement, or the one that you're most proud of? It doesn't have to be the biggest, just the one that means the most to you.
I think I'm a bit sentimental as a person. I care about numbers because I'm an engineer. I mean, numbers are supposed to be my thing. The indices says that we are growing, but then sentimentally, when I get feedback from my users, for example, Ibaba reached out to me unprovoked and said he's so happy with what we've done, that it's helped him increase his customers, it's helped him schedule his time, and he now has work-life balance. So he knows days he can take us off days, and then his customers would know that. So just that comment alone makes me feel, yeah, we're doing something right and we're reaching the right people. For the numbers, they're good as far as we're concerned. We've onboarded up to 10 businesses. We've processed some revenue as well. It's a bit lower than what I expected, but I mean, like I said, what I really cherish the most is the feedback I get.
Absolutely. I mean, numbers come eventually. Rome wasn't built in a day, they always say. But I think social proofing or reviews is so important for small businesses, because people will trust reviews over what you say. If you say your product is the best, okay, whatever, But if other people say your product is the best, then there's, okay. People would rather believe a random stranger than your own company's claims.
Definitely.
But it's definitely very heartwarming when you get a nice review. And was it in the moment that you knew that was one of your favorite accomplishments so far, or is it only later when you reflected back on it?
I think when that comment came in, it was natural. Like, I didn't put too much thought to it, but like I said, it's been months now, so I didn't really think about it in the time. But when I look back on it, like a few weeks later, a month or two later, and then I see that I didn't ask for this feedback, but it was given. And then I speak to him and he says, yeah, I like what this is doing. Then I say to myself and the team, we're actually doing something good. We probably do not have the revenue we want here, but people are using this and it's affecting how they work, which is what we set out to do from the beginning. So yeah, it was afterwards that I realized that, we're doing something good.
That's amazing. So, as much as we all love a heartwarming story, we probably learn more from our mistakes. So, could you share any of the mistakes you've made so far and what you've learned from it?
I think being a CEO, being a leader and founder, all those titles, it comes with a lot of responsibility, to be fair. And with the responsibilities, you have to actually take tough decisions. Personally, I try to avoid confrontation as much as I can, but I found out that it's not always positive if you do, because if you have a team, you definitely have to reprimand some. You definitely have to cut ties, which is one of the hardest things for me, cutting ties. Sometimes I'll say to myself, I'll speak to my co-founder and really get those duties to him, but it has to happen. So some of the mistakes I've made is, not ending things when I should have, but trying to delay the inevitable, and, not relying a lot on hard logic, but most times thinking about the intent. So that has cost the business a delay of probably 2 to 3 months, when we could have just, implemented what should have been implemented at the time without, saying let's see, or let's wait a bit. So that's it, see something, be very quick to change it, and if there's a new thing to do it immediately, and then if it doesn't work, try again. So yeah.
The biggest thing I heard from many people, and when we were all in Edinburgh, I think they said this as well, but it was to take action on whatever you're going to do, and that if you wait for even 5 seconds, 10 seconds, I forget the exact figure, your brain is going to convince you out of doing what you thought was best originally. And that's what I've tried to pass on to the entrepreneurs that I just spoke with at the uni the other day. But knowing that mistake, what's one thing that you've implemented into BankNBook that would make it stand out against your competitors?
It's a feature we're working on, but it's okay. I'm putting it out here now. So we're trying to do an email notification service where people will be notified. So some of the feedback we've gotten, which is what being a dynamic company, which we are, helps us to do is, aggregate feedback from our users. And one of the feedback is, people try to book in on times where other people have already booked in, and then probably that person might cancel, and someone who wants that time isn't notified. So we've implemented a feature where if someone books in on a time and is unavailable because someone has booked in on that time, if it cancels, they become notified of that time before any other person. So that's not in the market. Our competitors are not doing that, but we've decided to do that because it's going to help our businesses. Or that's, putting into practice what the feedback we've gotten from our businesses. So we've come up with that feature, and I think that's making us unique a bit from other booking software sites. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So imagine I'm a stranger now, and I'm a potential client. You're talking to me, and you mentioned that you have a booking system. I maybe mentioned that I need a booking system. I'm a complete stranger. We just met. How would you convince me to use your software over another one in about 10 seconds? Biggest thing that you could say yours is better at.
Well, we allow you on digital customized shops that just see what you are at a glance, and then our revenue package is really nice. It's one of the cheapest out there. Also, would help you see that you get repeat customers at the end of the month.
Yeah, absolutely. Incredibly important to customize your own space, because, we just we were doing some research about color actually, and that influences 90% of your purchasing decision. So if I'm my own business and I just have a blank standard look like every other page for booking, it might not stand out to customers like your platform would. So it's incredible.
Thank you.
And building upon your pitch, customers usually also look at reviews, look online, and try to find competitors. Who are your main competitors? What is one thing they do well, and what is one thing you do better?
So this Fresher, I do like Fresher. Fresher is ubiquitous. They have different features that are quite appealing. They allow you to have, you know, they allow you a team that can help you customize your business. But we allow you on different teams. Like, you wouldn't have just one fit for all. So if you want different pictures, a barber wants a different picture, a hairdresser wants a different picture, a nail technician wants different pictures, it's possible. So you can customize your own digital storefronts with our platform, and it's yours. Not when businesses come, they don't see BankNBook, they see Addis Barbershop, they see Matt's Salon, and they see John's Nail Tech. So that's what they see. But with Fresh Eyes is almost the same template for every business.
Can I just ask you, why do I have a salon in this make-believe world?
I thought you would do better with a salon.
Well, automation's really important, especially nowadays. I mean, every company has AI built into their platform or automated this, automated that to get you through the buying process a lot quicker. So if I did have a salon, let's say, what is one thing, your biggest suggestion of one thing I should automate to get customers in the door and making a purchase?
I think the thing about it is you need to actually know your customers, which is why getting automation will help you, because in the end, you would aggregate this feedback. BankNBook provides insight as to who is a repeat customer, who books, when they book, and all of that. So this data is segmented to help you decide which customer do you need to treat as a VIP because they've been a repeat customer. What customer do you offer promos to say thank you for the service? And in that little way, you can actually, know your customer. For example, my barber tells me about a customer who comes on the third Saturday of every week. So he's looked at the data and he can say for a fact that this person comes every third week. And so he's talked about, closing that block of time for just that barber. So imagine you were the one who wanted to cut your hair on the third week and your barber tells you, you know what, you can book, but that time is blocked for you every third Saturday of the week. So imagine each customer is felt in a different little way important by the business owner. It will definitely help you get repeat customers and it will endear new customers to your business. So you actually need automation.
Yeah, so if like personalized ads, was like step one of getting to know your customers and knowing their data, knowing their shopping habits, this is like step 5 of really, really being personal with your customers. And that, couldn't be a bigger factor for small businesses to try to use because every customer matters as you know, as I know, every customer that we have matters, right? But other than the barber, would you say that the barber is your real world example of that improved automation or improved customer retention through automation?
Yeah, for now, because you remember the problem statement where we started, we looking into expanding into events and the rest, but for now, beauticians are our customer focus for now. Like I said, we're expanding into booking events and restaurants and all of that. That's going to come second quarter. We've already started building on that. But our real world experiences come from the beauticians that are on our platform now.
As the numbers guy in the room, can I get some numbers about like the conversion rate that a good booking system can turn website visitors into paying customers?
For example, we have this barber who used to close six cuts every day. When he started using us, he got up to 8. This means that he was able to segment his time, and then a haircut, he usually brought it down to 45 minutes every day. And then he still had an hour free for any walk-in service. So from a 5 haircuts every day to 8. And let's just look at it simply. So because everyone has a slot, they don't come in and sit in and wait. Because imagine if you went into a barber store and you saw 3 people who were next to you, you would leave. But imagine you knew you had 12 to 1 or 12 to 12:45. You go in at 12 to 1 to 12:45 and have a haircut. And then another person at that time will go in the next time. So just doing this converts more customers because it means that you can get through the day by cutting more people because they all have a time slot. As against if people could just randomly walk in and then may see 2 or 3 people and may not. I mean, what are the odds that you walk into a less busy day? So an automation platform helps increase those numbers.
I mean, that could also increase walk-ins as well. If they have, an organized schedule, then they're going to know, all right, maybe a lot more people walk in at 1 p.m. on Wednesdays, and then they could just, not put reservations for that time and then take more walk-ins, separate their reservations.
Mostly, trust me, the walk-ins are now converted to booking online, because when they come in and they're like, you need to book, and they say, oh, you know what, I probably need to book, and then it's easier. But then there's always that window where walk-ins come in, because I speak to our users, we're not eliminating walk-in. People need to discover your service by walking in. But when they do, convert them to people who would go on the platform and book.
I don't mind using a booking service at all. I think keeps the business organized, keeps me organized. I get a little reminder, etc. But the businesses that don't accept walk-ins, they kind of irk me, because they should have, like for a barbershop.
I like walk-ins, to be fair. If you ask me, I like walk-ins, because I go to different cities. I kind of travel a lot. I wouldn't know what booking service a barber is using there. Even though, to be fair, I don't cut my hair in different cities. But if I were to, I would definitely want to walk in. And like I said, I wouldn't be too happy if I couldn't get a haircut by just walking. So I do understand. But like I said, the businesses are priority here. That's what we're serving.
Yeah, I thought the golden rule was you never cheat on your barber.
Well, it's still there.
Look, dude, what am I going to do? Not get a haircut all summer? So, yeah, bookings are incredibly important for small businesses, large businesses, and they could take walk-ins, and bookings are key to keep them on schedule, on topic, and to be making the most of their customers. But what's one small fix that you think that these businesses can make that will make a big difference in terms of their bookings and walk-ins and scheduling?
To be fair, I think it's a service. I think the service determines who comes back. So the quality of service is really important. If you have someone giving a below par service, even if you've got a good booking software, a booking platform, it doesn't overtake the service here. So if the businesses give good service, for example, if a barber cuts really well, he speaks to his clients, engages them, and makes them feel relaxed when they're having a haircut. If a salonist talk to their clients, that's those who want to be spoken to, and just find a common ground. I think, to be fair, service is everything. Then after the service, the ease of assessing the service also makes it easy for you to have a repeat customer. What I would not substitute for anything is the service.
Yeah, customer service, huge across every industry.
Definitely.
So now you've got an amazing business product. How do customers find you? What channels do you use for marketing, and why?
So we use Instagram. We started with Instagram and Facebook, but we've only found out that Instagram has been more successful. Also word of mouth. I do know quite a number of people, so it's easy to speak to people, and most of our businesses come from Instagram and also word of mouth, which is has made it easier because they've been able to put a face behind the name, and I think people connect more with things they're familiar with, people they know, and people they can reach easily, even in the community. So I'd say Instagram works a lot for us, and we're on Instagram, and a little bit of word of mouth and Facebook as well, but Instagram the most successful for us now. That's the most successful marketing channel.
So you use a lot of data, or your business uses. Oh shoot! Your business uses a lot of data for its customers, but how do you use that data to influence your marketing? Is there any that you optimize?
So we actually see who needs what and when and why. So whoever engages with us on Instagram, we try to see what background they've come from. For example, what sort of barbers are there, what sort of salonists are there, what sort of nail technicians are there, and that will help us, focus our ads on people in that category and see how we can actually, help them with our service, or use our service to help their businesses grow in some way. So yeah, that's what we do. And even with our business owners, we try to ask them what do their users, like their businesses, what do they want the most, and that also helps inform the decisions they make, which we help them achieve.
So do you remember a time when data completely changed your marketing approach? Did it change at all using different data, or have you stuck with a similar one?
We've kind of stuck with a similar one, but we're kind of tweaking at this point. Like I said, there's something called the TAM. It's a business term about your total accessible market, and we've looked at it and we've seen that there's data in the booking space, regardless of just beauticians or any of that category, but also in the event, restaurant, business booking. And so that's kind of like changing how we choosing to expand. So we're not just being domiciled with beauticians, we're also trying to expand to other sectors. Well, no, other spheres, but I mean the same sector. So that data that we've researched actually changed how we looked at the booking process for businesses.
That's really smart that you use a data-driven marketing strategy. Most companies don't do so. So even then, what is the biggest challenge you face with marketing?
Trust me, marketing is a very complex term. I think I should even leave it to you guys because you're like the the experts on marketing. I try not to dabble. I think marketing 101 is where I stop, which is talk to people about a product. Okay, marketing is really important, but like I said, the data we're getting will help us reach more people.
Okay, but I can simplify it for you.
Yeah.
I'll give you 3 options.
Yeah.
Are you finding a challenge in finding the audience, keeping the audience, or converting interest into action? What's the hardest part?
I would say that's systematic. I think that the first step is a real big issue for us, finding the audience, because we're a B2B, so it's like business to business. We're not a B2C, which is like customer to customer, which we can always find everyday customers and say, sign up on this. So finding the businesses, convincing them to use this as opposed to other bigger names is where the problem is. I think for the few, once we did find them, it wasn't hard keeping them and then converting them. So the biggest problem is finding.
Yeah, I mean, for a marketing company as well, doing business to business, I mean, you don't get typical just people looking to market whatever themselves. Finding companies that, want to use your service is a big challenge. But how can a business that uses your booking system enhance their own brand perception? Because obviously you need to keep a high brand perception for yourself to get customers. But then how does that booking system for them help their own brand perception? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you see, from the beginning when I said we allow businesses customize their digital storefront. So we're not taking all the glory here. Like I said, customers do not even see BankNBook. They see the businesses they are dealing with. So when someone clicks on the booking link, they see the digital storefront of the business they are going to use their service, see the pictures, see the prices, see out of hour times and how to book. So that keeps the brand at the forefront of every user that uses that service. So they also see like important information per promo, per out of office times, or any time that there's an increase in price or a reduction in price. And also different product or services that have probably been added to the service list. So it keeps the brand at the forefront. It allows the businesses service their customers, which would always, keep in the hearts of the mind of the customers, the brand. And the brand advocacy will continue from there.
So this might be a little bit of a biased question because obviously you have the booking service, but now put yourself in the shoes of an everyday consumer and you're going into 2 separate businesses. Imagine they do the same thing. We'll continue the example of a barber, and one of them has a booking system and one of them has your booking system. So let's say that the first one has just something like Google Calendar, something very basic, no customization. What are your feelings towards each of them? And what are the influences that make you choose the second one with your system over the first one?
Okay. So I think personally, I'm a very simple guy, so I wouldn't be very biased against a very straightforward booking system. I will do it, I'll use it, and I'll move on. But then the second one that shows me my barber, probably pictures of his shop, his prices, services, and other products. That's a keeper for me. I'm definitely using that one, and it means that, I mean, just think about it. Another thing we're working on is, implementing chatbots that allows customers, pick out time and then complain probably and find fixes to their issues. So just imagine I knew that, I could just put on the chat that this is the day I want, and then it could tell me what days are available. And if it's in weeks, I'll definitely pick that over just a straightforward booking system. So yeah, definitely.
Well, that's completely fair. So thank you for taking us through the nitty-gritty of your business. So now I'm going to ask for the bigger picture. Where do you see yourself and BankNBook in 5 years?
Honestly, guys, I'm retired.
Yeah. I've never.
I say this thing too much, and people say, you're too young to think about retire. I want to retire in 5 years. I want to build this so big that it's not about me anymore. It's about the people who will be working in BankNBook, and the vision to go further than this. It's going to be Pan-African business, because at some point I'll think of going back to Africa and implementing this here, and also other European countries as well. So that's why I see myself 5 years, having built this thing to such a level where I do not have to make all the day-to-day decisions. It would be running on autopilot. I'll just maybe take executive decisions or probably be on the board, but
On the
definitely,
boat, yeah, sitting back on the yacht, drinking
yeah,
a pina
definitely
colada,
retired,
right? Yeah.
I don't know, probably Miami,
Miami, first place you think is Miami.
Yeah,
huh?
Miami, probably.
All right.
So yeah, that's definitely what I see. But I mean, this is for the long haul. I'm not just building a small startup. I'm trying to build a global branch here. I know it's tough, but like I said, I like Elon. His odds were against him. He had 3 very difficult failures. The 4th one would have thrown him off. So I'll get there, I'm sure.
I know you will. Attitude like that, nothing's going to really stop you. But do you got a quote maybe from Elon or somebody else that, drives you forward and makes you want to do what you do every day and, well, for the next 5 years at least?
I think Elon, for me, I think that his background just, he resonates with mine. I think some of the failures he's had. So I always live by this quote. If something is important and good enough for you, you should do it regardless of how impossible it looks. It's not in those words, but I mean, it's what he meant. Even if the odds were against you, you should do it. So that quote works with me every day. I think about it and think about all the possibilities of failure. But like I said, it's really important to me, so I definitely won't stop doing it. Yeah.
So a little like what Kennedy said when they were going to the moon, like they don't do it because it's easy and they do it because it's hard. That kind of thing?
Sort of,
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
That's amazing. So, final question. If you could talk to your younger self starting out, what would you say? What would you tell them?
I think I mean, I like this question, younger self, because I think from 12, I was always thinking outside the box. I think I was that child. I never really showed. I'm very simple by nature. I mean, there's more that meets the eye for me, but I never really let on. So it's not just myself, but to every other entrepreneur, work hard and never give up. Also, if you're starting a business, you need to understand 2 things: your business model and your operating model. Your business model is just your company's blueprint on how to create, capture, and deliver value. It basically tells you how to make profits, but your operating model is quite important. It talks about your commercialization, your routes to market, your CRM, and then it also helps you to ensure that what you're spending on the business is lower than the value you're bringing in. It also talks about your system processes, the data you're getting from your customers, and also what technology you use to implement all of that. If you understand those fundamental blocks, I can assure you that you're in business. So understand these 2, be an entrepreneur, never give up, and I think the sky, it wouldn't even be your limit, it'll be your starting block, yeah.
I like to say that it takes three things: love, time, and effort. And if you don't have either of those, it's not going to work out.
It's not going to work out,
Yeah. Well, is there any other things you'd like to mention about BankNBook?
No, guys, thank you for
marketing?
having me, and tell all your barbers to come on board.
100%.
Yeah, we'll do a discount for them because it's from you.
Very nice. Well, I don't have one barber since I'm traveling around, but I'll tell all of them.
I've always known you to be unfaithful, but it's all right.
Hey. Whoa, where's
It's
that
all
coming
right.
from?
Nah, I have to
I was
be
trying
faithful.
to tell you, I get you more business than one, but all right, come shooting at me.
Clip that.
It's really nice to be here with you guys. Thank you for this, and I really do appreciate the work you guys are doing on Unbranded.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you for joining us. I mean, we got a few other entrepreneurs that we're going to be talking to, but obviously going first was a big step. We only got a limited series of these, so you don't got to watch all of them. Don't worry. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for being an amazing guest.
Thank you, Adi.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
All right.
having me here.
Perfect.